Dire team ban. Fnatic's turn to ban. Dire team
Alright,
ban.
gang, we are finally coming back here for our fourth and final match of the day, Starladder Season 8, Day number 4. Now, there was a little glitch in the schedule. We ran behind a bit, and we did miss the Power Rangers versus Four Friends and Krilly match. They let it run simultaneously while this match was getting set up, and while the third match that we casted was still underway. I did get word that Power Rangers took out 4FC. Spoilers, sorry if you were hoping to catch that match. We did just want to report on the updates here. We did not cast it, but Power Rangers, alas, did take out that match. So we do have one left for you guys. Fnatic, back from DreamHack, ready to take on Team Aspera. I'm Zyori. With me once again is Merlini. Merlini, my friend, what's the good word here coming into the last match of the day?
Spoiler alerts. I'm just kidding. It's all good.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought about it in retrospect, not proactively, but... so Aspera versus Fnatic. I think it's safe to say Fnatic are the favorites here. Let me go and join Dota and let's see what this match is currently voted at. I'm kind of curious about the numbers. But yeah, Aspera definitely going to have their work cut out for him here. They do have at least one stand-in who is Stompa. I'm not sure if Wall Eater is he a stand-in or part of their roster. He's not labeled as either, so I'm not sure. Ouch. 93% Fnatic, by the way, Merlini. Ouch.
Yeah, I think odds on Dota 2 Launch are 75-25. Join Dota, I think you just place on who you think is going to win, as opposed to odds. So I think the odds are much better than the Join Dota ones.
Yeah, that's actually fair enough. Fair enough. I should probably look there. Let's talk about this draft a little bit. It is underway pretty quickly here. Pugna as well as the Bat Rider are going to be the first two bans for Aspera. Elder Titan OD going to be taken out of the pool for Fnatic. First pick, Nature's Prophet. Visage and Weaver are going to be grabbed by Aspera, and that will open up for a second pick, Venomancer. So Fnatic, I mean, one of their signature heroes. Furion going to be first picked, a very valuable choice. They didn't go for the Wisp, though, which I don't want to say is surprising, but I'm not surprised to see Aspera third banning out the Wisp, as, well, Fnatic passed it up for some first pick action. Also seeing Weaver in the first two picks for Aspera. Something else we haven't seen, certainly today, or last time we cast it either, I don't think.
Yeah, it's pretty good versus Weaver. Or pretty good versus Veno, rather. Weaver still gets shut down by quite a few things, like anything with the silence until he gets his BKB. I don't particularly like getting Weaver this early, just because I think you can build a lineup around your supports, but you can't really build that much of a lineup around Weaver. Maybe you can like Abaddon him, but it didn't really work out last game, as we saw. Venomancer or Nature's Prophet, I think, is just more flexible and standard pick from Fnatic.
Yep, I would absolutely agree with that. Puck going to be the third pick to go with Fnatic's Veno and Furion. Still a very open-ended roster, and Puck always a powerful hero pickup. Other bans, Timbersaw as well as the Bounty Hunter, both going to be taken out of the pool. So I don't know, I like Fnatic's bans. All of them are just very irritating heroes to deal with. All of them bring a lot to the table and are pretty difficult to shut down. Other than Timbersaw, I guess you can outlane him a little bit, but all the others so irritating to deal with. Aspera seem semi-hellbent on not playing against Pugna. I think this is not the first time we've seen them ban out the Pugna, and actually today we've seen Pugna banned out a fair bit, even though he hasn't been picked all that much. So just more food for thought. Also, Bat Rider being banned out in that first grouping is a little a-characteristic as well.
Yeah, Bat Rider is pretty annoying to deal with. Yeah, I still like Fnatic's draft a lot better. They banned out all the offlaners since they already have an offlaner of their own, and all three of those offlaners are pretty annoying to deal with. Puck, very good versus Weaver. You can get a Linken's, but it's not really going to matter. He can get a BKB, but Puck usually can farm a sheep at a decent rate. So Weaver's already going to have not an easy time for him. Aspera with the Darkseer pickup, something that we have not seen very often either.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, really a bit different. Now, we've talked about Darkseer a fair bit in terms of why he hasn't been picked up as of late. Most of it because of 6.79, Vacuum getting a slight nerf. What is the cooldown on Vacuum? It's like 25 seconds? It's pretty long. 28, that's what it is.
Yeah,
28.
3 minutes is what I like to call it.
3 minutes, yeah. Long enough that you can't
cooldown.
really use it twice in a team fight. The changes to the off lane and the jungle, Darkseer just has all-around less of a presence. One of the biggest issues, he just doesn't come online until level 10, level 11 is when he starts to be a force to be reckoned with. Before that, Darkseer is pretty much just farming around and holding the lane steady. So that is one issue where these really aggressive early rosters kind of... I don't know, take advantage of Darkseer's lack of early game, I guess is a good way to put it. So, interesting from Team Aspera, though. So far, I think since we've seen 6.79, Darkseer has really only been popular in like those kind of wombo kind of team lineups where you try to use the vacuum to set something up, you know, into an Earth Splitter, into a Naga Sleep, something like, maybe not a Naga Sleep, but, you know, some sort of AoE synergy built around it. And I'm curious what Aspera may try to do with those last two picks.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do too. Very curious. Yeah, they could just go for team fight lineup like you talked about. Dark's here. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like him as a hero. It depends on how you want to play him, though. I think he does very well if you want to play like super aggressively with him. Ion Shell on a Weaver and Surge on top of Shikuchi just makes him near impossible to kill. But far too often he just pigeonholes into that that team fight backup kind of hero.
So Nyx Assassin going to be that fourth pick for Fnatic. An interesting choice. Not a bad support, but another one that's lost a lot of momentum since Impale lost its target ability. Now you got to just target the ground, so there is a much higher chance of missing said Impales. But, you know, Nyx, actually, what are your thoughts about Nyx? You find him to be a well-rounded bloke or not so good?
I think he's good. You just have to actually be able to play him now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a fair way to put it. Yeah, it takes a little more skill, I suppose. And Abaddon going to be grabbed by Aspera. So indeed, it is probably going to be that Abaddon-Weaver combo that we've talked about a couple of times. And it's one of those things that is pretty powerful and can be irritating in the lane, but doesn't really seem to be a game changer. It allows Weaver to be a little more aggressive depending on who he's laning against, maybe grab a couple of early kills he otherwise wouldn't be able to. But, you know, solid lane, but nothing too earth-shattering. Mirana and Viper, last two bans here.
Yeah, it is nothing like super special, as you say. He's yeah, a decent pickup. Him plus Weaver is super annoying to deal with, and it will allow Weaver a lot more flexibility. So I do think it's a good pickup for them, but at the same time, I think they could have just gone with something like a lifestealer instead of a Weaver, and then you don't really have to worry about Puck all too much. And I think lifestealer is still a pretty good pickup here, although it would make Aspera's lanes very, very strange and weak.
I mean, Fnatic very well could grab him as well. Nyx Assassin, Veno, lifestealer tri-lane, Puck in the mid, a little off-lane Furion action could work quite well for Fnatic. But they're going to think about it a little bit. They've got 20 seconds of bonus time left. Trying to think of what else they could grab here if they don't want to go for the lifestealer. I mean, I guess anti-mage is always an option if they want to go that slow, boring, hard farming carry route, though. Hey, for some reason, just highly doubt it here. I don't think it's necessary, but... Oh, gonna be the gyrocopter. All right, not gonna go for that lifestealer. So this may open up for Aspera to grab themselves that lifestealer you were mentioning. But yeah, I agree. Those are some pretty weak lanes they've got going on right there. Guess you could put the Darkseer mid, and that wouldn't be too terrible. But I don't know. Aspera's got kind of an interesting roster here. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, and it is interesting. I don't really see too much like strength in it. Like it is good defensively, but at the same time you don't really want to be defensive because then you have to just let Fnatic farm up the whole time. So it's kind of is pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I also worry about them dealing with the pushing power, mostly from the Furion, but really no significant anti-push from Aspera. I guess Ion Shell is the most significant that they have, but, you know, no great AoE creep clear, no Puck, no Windrunner, nothing like that. So that's just going to make dealing with this Rat Dota-style Furion that much more difficult on top of...
Yeah, and they had to deal with, like, a Gyrocopter late game, Nature's Prophet late game, like, Puck... Late game is nothing to scoff at either, and then Nyx Assassin is already good versus Storm. I do not like Aspera's draft.
Yeah, Storm Spirit, the last pick, I mean, they did need a good mid-hero. I don't know, I guess you could, like I said, you could have put it that Darkseer mid if you really wanted to, but at least Storm Spirit are going to be a solid mid-choice, but I still think these lanes are going to be a little bit rough. They're basically going to be tri-laning that Weaver, I suppose, with off-lane Darkseer. See how it works out, but I think Fnatic have a much more standard draft. Really, the only hero that they have that we haven't seen all that much of is Nyx Assassin, and he's still very powerful if in the hands of the proper support, and I think No-Tail is skilled enough to handle that skill shot stun, so shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. But we'll see. Last and final match of the day here, guys, for Starladder Season 8, Day 4. I'm Zyori. With me is Merlini. We've got Fnatic versus Aspera coming at you here. Let's take a look at our dire side. We've got Aspera. Cat 4KM going to be on the Darkseer. Looks like he'll be in the top lane. Solo safe lane. Ink Visitor going to be solo mid on that Storm Spirit. And it will indeed be a tri-lane in the long lane. Stand-in Stompa going to be on the Abaddon. Blah Blah Foo going to be playing on the Visage. And Wall Eater going to be on that hard farming Weaver again in the long lane. Now, our Radiant side, we do have Team Fnatic. Trixie going to be in the off lane on that Nature's Prophet. No doubt rotating between the off lane and the jungle wherever farm allows. We've got Hani playing on the Puck. Undoubtedly going to be in the mid lane. Fly going to be on the slimy Venomancer as he wiggles his way around that top rune. May very well find himself stationed down in the bottom lane for a little try-on-try action. No-Tail going to be supporting the bottom lane on the Nyx Assassin. And, of course, we've got Era hard farming on the Gyrocopter, slated to go to that bottom lane as well.
Yeah, an early Invis Room picked up by Era on bottom, and hopefully we don't see another Abaddon offlane fail again. This is a pretty strong offlane, though. Weaver can just harass pretty much at will, and it's going to be really annoying for Fnatic to deal with. And yeah, they have a Nyx Assassin babysitting him, but he is just not the best babysitter. He has melee, he doesn't have a large mana pool, he has boots, but Impale, very short stun duration, level 1, mana burn, very long cooldown, so however he's going to babysit him, it's not going to be that effective. I think the best way would be to skill level 1 mana burn and then ban the Visage, so he doesn't have to worry too much about dying. But other than that, I guess you could also go Impale and just defensive Impale if they play aggressively on air, which they really very well could, and it looks like they already are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way they're going to be able to do a 2v3 down here. I think undoubtedly the Venomancer are going to have to roam towards bottom, but Fly already has his sights set on the mid lane. Ink Visitor going to move to the low ground. Fly going to come in. He did skill Gale level 1, is going to harass back the Storm Spirit. I don't think they'll have enough to secure a kill here. Unfortunately, Puck pushed way back near that creep wave, but still going to open up a little bit of space for that Puck to farm, and of course box out the Storm Spirit. We'll see where Fly ends up, though. I have to imagine they're going to want to rotate him bottom because unfortunately, Era just not grabbing much in the way of last hits against.
I think that's okay though. I think it's okay as long as they shut down the Storm Spirit. But with some, he aggroed the creeps accidentally. So now, in Ink Visitor gets like a free creep away at tower, which is exactly what he doesn't want. And after that, you pretty much just have to leave the lane because now he's almost level 3, and it's a lot of wasted time. I think had that creep wave not gone that way, he could have just stayed in mid and zoned him out, and that's an okay trade because Gyrocopter can catch back up with Flat Cannon. He can still do a lot of damage in team fights with call down, so he's not that useless without farm. He's not that great without farm, but he's not that useless. And they have the Furion and Puck to rely on in the mid game too.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. Of all the carries that can recover from a lack of early game farm, Gyrocopter definitely fits the bill there. So fair enough. Well, we'll see how it goes for him, though. And he's starting to grab a couple of other last hits. Venomancer now going to grab a double damage rune here at the 2-minute mark. It was in the top position, and he is going to roam towards mid again, it looks like. And looking at the vision here, trying to find an opportunity to zone out Ink Visitor. Hani's
also not doing a great job of controlling the creep wave. Like, it's tanking the tower. So now, like, ideally you'd want it, like, right here so that Storm Spirit doesn't get any experience, but he's just getting a little bit too much in a 2-on-1 situation. I think Fly should probably abandon pretty soon unless they think they can get a kill on him, which I guess they probably could.
Yeah. If only Fly was level 2. If he had that poison sting, things would be a little bit easier for that additional bit of slow, but still only level 1. This double damage rune going to expire kind of momentarily here. Of course, Ink Visitor caught a glimpse of him, so he knows what's going on. He's positioning himself very well to the sort of south end of the tower so that Fly doesn't have any kind of easy initiation, though. As you mentioned, Fly investing a lot of resources into this right now. He's only level 1, only halfway to level 2, and has really yet to do anything too effective except for grab that first rune, or the second rune spawn here at the 2-minute mark. I guess that is something, but well, maybe this will be his mark. No. Oh god, I thought they were going to set up on the top lane. Sorry, I was looking top, not bottom. And the Darkseer, I don't know, this could be an interesting little exchange here. Gale going to come out. He is going to get blocked by the creeps, and the Surge will be enough to keep him away. So it is going to be a trade down in the bottom lane. What was that, a Gyrocopter in exchange for the Visage down there? So
yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, it's not that bad for Fnatic either because they got a 1-for-1 trade in a 3-on-2 situation. But at the same, Ink Visitor may die, and he's pretty close to dying. But I mean, I'm not sure why Venomancer is rotating top, just because how are you going to kill a Darkseer? He can either TP out, he can search away, he can just do so many different things. And yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure on him, but he is going to have a bottle coming right now, and we'll be able to bottle.
Did you see that down bottom? That was Weaver Shikuchi'd, and No Tail positioned himself to proc a Spike Carapace towards the tail end of Shikuchi, and they put a sentry ward down, and yeah, Weaver just got caught with his pants around his ankles. That was a pretty clutch Nyx Assassin play right there. I like that.
I did not see that. I did not expect them getting killed, but yeah. I'm glad you caught it, because that sounds pretty darn good, and there's no way that Fnatic should be winning this lane down here.
Yeah, seriously. And there, now that Gyro has grabbed himself, oh, he didn't grab the kill. Hani actually was the one to grab it, but uh-oh, Era gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. One more nuke to finish him off. Down he goes. Blah Blah Fu gonna be the one to grab that last hit on the Visage. So, I guess it could be going better for Fnatic, but certainly could be going worse. Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Fly going to be invisible. The Gale not going to connect.
Wow.
Oh.
He's invis, too.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fail.
That's a huge fail.
Yeah, sorry, Fly, but not your best play, buddy. So, all tied up 2-2, 5-minute mark. Let's take a look at the gold graph, see how things are going. Up and down here, but still leveled out. As you mentioned, no way that Aspera should be able to win this bottom lane, and it's, maybe I shouldn't say break even, but Gyro's holding his own. He's 17 and 4.
I think that Fnatic is winning just because they haven't died amazing amounts of times. Like 0-2 on Gyrocopter, yeah, that's not good. But we're talking about 2-0-0 on a boots first Nyx Assassin against a tri lane. That should not happen. Yeah. So I think that's a win for them. Mid lane could be more of a win. They could have zoned the Storm Spirit out a little bit more if they were better at creep control. And that Invis should have been a kill, but it looks like he's going to die. He is not level 6. And that's really where the zoning out comes in really useful, because Hani will hit level 6 before he just calls for a rotation, and now Storm is level 5. He isn't going to hit level 6 for quite some time. He's going to miss this wave. He's going to miss a 6-minute rune, and now things are falling into place for Fnatic.
Yep. Exactly right, and that's that timing you have to hit. We talked about in the last, maybe not the last match, but the last match we saw Storm Spirit right before level 6 is that sweet spot to try and shut him down, because until he gets that huge bit of mobility from Ball Lightning, he's just like every other hard farming carry. He just has to stand there and try and last hit with no real escape mechanism. So well-timed gank indeed, and I think Hani has now just officially won the mid lane and may have another opportunity here. Inquisitor still not quite level 6. Fly gonna poke his head up on top of the hill. Hani gonna grab himself a double damage rune and may venture his way down bottom. Era, escaping trouble, but
I don't like the bottle pickup on Darkseer because he can't bottle Crow. It's very difficult to bottle Crow now if you're in the safe lane solo or in the off lane solo, and he doesn't really need it. I think if you're in a really troublesome situation, for example, against a dual lane or a tri lane, then you might need the bottle Crow. But if you're against like a easy matchup, which I would say Furion versus Darkseer is the easy matchup for the Darkseer, you can just get Soul Ring. You don't really need the safety from the bottle, because it doesn't actually hit your HP like Soul Ring does.
Yeah. So here in the bottom, we could see a little bit of initiation come out. Aspera, their tri-lane going to get split. The two supports going to head towards the rune. No Tail and Era looking for an opportunity. Unfortunately, No Tail not going to connect with that Impale. He did have a double damage rune on, but it has since expired. And I'm still just shocked at how well Era is farming down here. 24-5 against a 33-8 Weaver. I mean, it's been a duo versus tri-lane for most of it, but there's been a fair while here when Nyx Assassin has roamed around, and it's just been solo Era versus 3. And I'm a little surprised that they haven't been able just to zone him out of this lane. I feel like Visage and Abaddon should be able to position themselves across the creep wave and just make Era's life living hell, but
it's a smart build for him to go max flak, though, because if they are playing passively, they're just going to eat flax every 30 seconds, and that's a lot of hits that you have to tank. You have to tank 5 right clicks. He does 75 damage right now. That's a lot of damage, and it adds up, and it's like past that phase of the game where they don't have that much regen. Oops, missed that kill.
Yep, down in the bottom lane, Abaddon going to be in some trouble. Down he goes. Whoa, a nice call down. Going to connect with the Weaver as well. Blah, blah, Fu going to be in big trouble. That was a 2v3, a complete 2 versus 3. Fnatic
what a disaster.
Demolishing that tri-lane. Wow, up in the top, they did grab a kill onto the Furion. Nothing too crazy, just a classic Darkseer damage. Mixed with Storm Spirit, hopping his way up there. Of course, he's level 7, so does have that Ball Lightning, but I'm still just blown away by this Nyx Assassin Gyrocopter duo lane. I never would have thought they'd fare this well.
Wow, Trixie with that prediction power.
Wow, look at that.
Nice TP, man. Yeah, very nice TP. He predicted exactly where he was going to go.
Yeah. Nicely done. So, Fnatic really starting to fall into line, to borrow a term that you used earlier. Already a 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 experience lead. Just look at this bottom lane. This duo lane has legit beat a tri-lane. An easy double kill on Weaver and Abaddon. That's
just clear outclass of skill difference, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Impressive.
Honey
Wow.
going on blah blah foo.
Yep, Dream Coil going to be burned. There's the Illusory Orb. That's going to be an easy kill. Coming out for the puck. Fly going to snake his way forward and probably grab a bit of extra experience there. But basically a solo kill by Hani. Easy peasy. Fly is now level 6, which is good news as well. That Venomancer now going to have Poison Nova, an ability not to scoff at indeed. And it looks like a lane rotation from Aspera. Now they're going to send Darkseer down to the bottom lane to tango with this Gyrocopter. And I think they're going to rotate their tri-lane up to the top to try and make some recovery farm on this Weaver. But he doesn't have much. He is going to try to go for a recovery Midas, though. He's got the recipe and another 150 gold in the bank. So
you can't out late game Fnatic's lineup though, because they have to worry about the constant Nyx ganks. Puck's gonna have a blink pretty soon too, 600 gold. So if you try and split push without any items, you always have to have an Abaddon there to babysit you. So you're pretty much like sacrificing your support's farm, and it's not really going to do that much. And then they have to worry about a super stack Gyrocopter who has recovered very, very nicely after the initial 2 deaths. They have to worry about the Nature's Prophet too. If he gets an Orchid or a Sheep at a reasonable time, Weaver's going to be in a lot of trouble too. So they're going to have to like babysit the Weaver a lot if Fnatic wants to just play the same passive farm game and just split gank.
Yeah, absolutely right. So already in the mid lane here, Fnatic continuing to stay aggressive. Hani now level 8 on that Nyx Assassin. Of course, is going to have Vendetta, using it very aggressively as well. There's Abaddon, or Abaddon, pardon me, only level 4. Hani might be able to solo him. He's in the top high ground. Oh, not going to get the Vendetta backstab, but alas, this fight going to transpire here.
Wow.
And wow, Puck
Nice
going to get
ultimate.
kind of obliterated there. Yeah, nice wall going to come, take a lot of damage as well. Will get the ultimate off. Stompa may be in a little bit of trouble here. Inquisitor lining up for the deny, perhaps. Is going to be a 1 for 2. So a nice little sign of life there for Aspera. Going to be 5 to 10 total, and that did open up a little bit of room for this Weaver to farm while that was happening in the mid lane.
The level 6 wall is hugely underrated. It does very good damage. 150 damage at, for 1 point is really, really good. The damage doesn't actually scale up, and it's just really good for 1 point, especially if they line up like that.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Darkseer coming in handy right there. And also, Fnatic did get that tier 1 tower kill, though, so it is going to level out the tower count. Actually, not
Is
the first
Hani going to
tower
sit in
kill.
base for... Oh, he was at 2138 gold. I was like, is he going to sit in base for 10 seconds to wait for it? He just got really impatient, sold his mantle of intelligence and bought his blink dagger.
There you go. So he's got some initiation power now. And is that Puck with the blink? Oh, yeah, Hani, pardon me.
Yeah.
I was thinking that Nyx Assassin was the one getting the blink. I'm sorry.
That would be ridiculous.
Bit of a mental
But
fight.
I would believe it.
Where did that farm come from? Wow, okay, so Hani's the one with his blink. There you go. For some reason, you said Hani, and I pictured Nyx Assassin. Just last game of the day, always a little fatigued. And Trixie has also picked up a Hand of Midas on that Nature's Prophet, so his farm going to start to skyrocket as well, as he's been rotating about into the jungle and just capitalizing on everything that he can find. Bottom tier 1 tower
Nice
for Aspera going to fall, but it will get denied. That one lone Visage Bird going to be the perpetrator of said deny. Is No Tail going to make it happen? Again, Nyx Assassin, level 8, does have the Vendetta on. Looking for an opportunity, and look at this. Trixie again going to predict. They're going to try to engage on the Darkseer. Why did I say try? They are going to engage on that Darkseer. Dream Coil going to be burned. No Tail not even going to get to use the Vendetta. How bittersweet. Smoke going to be used by Hani onto No Tail as well. Look at this aggression. This is the kind of Nyx Assassin I'm sure No Tail loves. Just the insane aggression, early level advantage. I mean, oh wow! If you press E and look at that level graph, that's just a little scary. Down in the bottom lane, Era gonna get caught. Inquisitor gonna fly in from semi-long range there with that ball lightning. That will be a kill the way of Aspera. But Hani's inbound. He's hungry. He does not have a. Oh my! What is he doing? He does not have a Dream Coil. Oh, looking for the Visage. Yeah, there he is. Gonna throw the orb. That orb actually didn't connect. Wow, that was unfortunate. I think that would have been a kill almost.
He was shielded. He had like 450 HP plus shield.
Oh, that's what it was, the shield. I thought I was just, how did that not hit him? Okay, the shield. I'm all over the place this match. 12 to 6 here at the 13-minute mark. Still a huge lead for Fnatic, and now that Trixie's moved out of the jungle, he's going to start knocking these towers down. Force Staff first, following that Hand of Midas there on the
No Tail misses a stun.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh man, that poor Darkseer, or lucky Darkseer as it may be, poor Nighttail not going to be able to connect with the skill shot. The Venom Ward's doing a lot of damage here as well, but look at that Storm Spirit just get melted like butter to a warm knife. Port's going to come in to try and make something happen here. Wall Eater may need to be a little bit careful, does get that Ion Shell on, uses that Shikuchi very aggressively here. There's the Vacuum, Poison Nova going to come out, is going to connect with the Weaver. He's going to be taking a good bit of damage here. The Darkseer taking a good bit of damage as well. The tower does fall to the Wrath of the Nature's Prophet. Down goes the Darkseer. Oh, down goes the Abaddon to a Nature's Prophet ulti. Wow, the Visage going to get picked off as well. That's going to be a 4-for-0. Weaver making it out with just a handful of hit points to spare, and of course the tower falls. It's looking like Fnatic may have this one in the bag, Merlini.
Yeah, I mean, Weaver has a Midas, but he can't really come to the fight, so they had to just try delay tactics, but they just set themselves up for a very perfect initiation by Hani there, catching the Storm Spirit out as well as a Darkseer without an Abaddon there to shield him. That's a very easy kill, and now, I mean, look at Storm Spirit, just boots or power treads and bottle, they are just gonna fall.
Yeah, this is a big issue right here. Hani taking a lot of damage, is going to be able to phase shift out. Trixie actually does get picked off. Weaver going to grab that last hit. A big wall going to come out, going to do a fair bit of damage. Puck ends up falling, as does Veno. So some cleanup kills. Yeah, don't call it a comeback yet, but the call down going to come. Could Era possibly turn this around? No, didn't do quite as much damage as I thought. Era not going to survive. That's going to be a clean sweep the other way.
That's the wall again.
Are you kidding?
That wall just owned them.
Wow. That net worth chart was all green, and now all of a sudden Weaver has snaked his way into second spot, and all of a sudden has a Perseverance, Ring of Aquila, and another 1,300 gold. So, I don't know, not looking quite as grim for Aspera as it once was. Still a large hurdle to overcome, but
yeah, I mean, all they need to do was just like attack the Rex, but Fnatic getting a little bit overzealous there.
A little greedy, maybe.
They're happy.
Oh man. That gold graph making a nice little peak and then on its way back down. Still not that big of a swing though, only about 2,000 gold. Still an 8,000 gold lead for Fnatic here. Still pretty damn significant.
Mm-hmm. And the tower count is what, 1, 2, 4, I guess. So 3 towers. So minus the tower gold, we're looking at like 4,500 gold difference. That's not so bad for Aspera, but problem is I don't know whether they're going to get like a lot of towers anytime soon. Fnatic already pushing into T2 in mid.
Yep, absolutely right. Fnatic going to keep the aggression on, though. Absolutely no reason for them not to here. And I imagine Hani is going to grab a Dagon this game. He's got a Staff of Wizardry, and that would be the item that makes a lot of sense. Kind of the classic time we see.
Yule's is pretty good, too.
Yeah, all right, yeah, Yule's could work here as well.
It's good to pop Lincolns on Weaver. It's good for the Abaddon, so you can either, if you want to like burst someone down, you can just use them before, or you can use them during borrowed time. It's not bad either. It's also good if you manage to get caught out by like an Orchid on Storm Spirit, so it's a good preemptive item too. So it could be a Dagon.
Yep. So there was some tower exchanging, though. Tier 1 down in the bottom lane did fall in favor of Aspera, so at least getting a small gold boost there, but they do trade their Tier 2 in the mid lane. Tower count now 5-2, again in favor of Fnatic. And this bottom lane of exposed racks now going to start taking heavy pressure. There is a glyph available for Aspera, so they're going to have an opportunity to defend here, but already these racks taking a lot of damage. Just going to try and focus down those right here, as Fnatic being cautious not to make the same mistakes again. They are going to move forward. Call down going to do a lot of damage. That'll be into the Storm Spirit to start off the fight. Poison Nova from Fly going to come out. Gyrocopter going to pick up a double kill as he finishes off the Visage. Abaddon going to fall, and now Wall Eater going to be in big trouble as well. And yeah, down he goes. Not much he can do. This time, the wall did not do quite as much damage as it did in previous engagements. And I think Aspera in big trouble right here. Blah Blah Foo, the only one left alive. Wall Eater does buy back, so it is a 2v5 on the field. But with this Tier 3 tower down, not much damage coming the way of Fnatic. Wall Eater to thwart his efforts, and he's going to fall. That's going to be a clean sweep. 5-0. Bottom lane of racks destined to fall. And we'll see what Fnatic does here. The respawn timers are so short that I already have some heroes coming back up. We'll see what Fnatic's next move is. Maybe just rotate to the mid. No, they're going to port out.